going on? What's going on, people? What's going on this beautiful sunny Sunday on the 31st day of May, 2020, in the year of our Lord? We out here. Just want to talk bring some sense to some people out here, you feel me? Based on what's going on right now, current events, such as, these rioting, these violent protests, or these non-violent protests that are being, incited into violence through, outside forces that are way out of, the impoverished minds of individuals' control. And I'm gonna bring you this from, the perspective of I guess what I would say a combat veteran, right? Because I did have to deploy. I had the opportunity to deploy twice, into Afghanistan, and kind of see the truth with my own eyes, kind of figure out that, these people are not really terrorists. America is the country that is behaving as a sort of a terrorist and dictatorship around the world. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, coming back to the States, leaving the Marine Corps and coming back into the civilian life, it wasn't easy, man. And a lot of veterans won't speak about it, but this is the reason why a greater number of veterans or such a great number of veterans commit suicide. Why, though there are more successful civilians that become military members in the civilian society, we still have such a high number of unemployment and all this crazy stuff, all these statistics that relate to veteran. And it's because of the fact that a lot of us, we wake up while in there and we see the truth, you feel me? We see that it's all bullshit and that is all programming, you get me? And some of us, we remain sedated, we remain sleeping, we remain a cog of the machine, of this big ass, political machine. But hey, listen, there's a lot going on today, right now in our world, and a lot will continue to go on, you feel me, that will use the emotions and the ignorance of the masses for their own self-gain and their own selfish purposes. That's why, knowledge is so fundamental to the development of any great outcomes, man. We got to develop ourselves to the best of our ability, mentally, and spiritually, not just, and also physically. But coming out of the Marine Corps and seeing the world as it was, me being a black, brown person, it was kind of scary. It was nerve-wracking, not knowing the job that I was going to get, and also seeing how, the law enforcement was conducting itself towards a lot of the populace. So, that kind of pushed you in a militant and revolutionary and also fearful state of mind. It got to the point, studying politics and government and seeing how far back corruption and manipulation and all this crazy stuff extends back in this country's history, that it kind of makes one, get into that mindset of the founding fathers, of wanting to overthrow tyrannical governments and the likes, And oftentimes, we have these ideas, we have these feelings because that is what is needed in our society. We need to fix the old system, and sometimes the only way to fix the old system is to most often than not to overthrow or change up the system a whole lot. And a lot of individuals out here are walking around thinking that they have all the answers and the solutions because they belong to a certain organization, or because that organization is feeding them the information that satisfies those beliefs and ideas and desires that those people want, to change this country. And I was stuck in that place too. I signed up for liberal clubs in college when I started college, and I went to the little club meetings and all of this and that. But as I started learning about our government and the various other institutions that came about, it kind of became apparent to me that all these right and left groups were all financed by the same individuals, the same group of people, to kind of control the opposition and to control the narrative and to control, how the public reacts and how the public protests and so on and so forth. So I had to end up having to take a step back. You get me? I got to the point where I was thinking about joining the military, and I had all these crazy ideas of how I would help restructure. Yo, let me tell you something. You can go crazy. You can go crazy trying to change such a monolithic machine like, this global political paradigm that we're currently under. Change. We cannot cause change on such a global level unless we have produced that kind of like insurmountable amount of change within ourselves. It all starts within. So when it comes to these revolutions and shit like that, we're not gonna change shit. I'm gonna tell you right now. Anything that happens right now that is done through violence is not gonna change shit. Why? Because everything that has been done to us through violence. So you get what I'm saying? We cannot fix something that has been done violently to us in a violent manner. The only way to fix all this violent shit is through peaceful and other forms of solutions. You get me? That's why the title of this video is revolution or evolution. You get me? Do you want a quick what you think will be a quick fix, which will by the next day will probably be back to normal? People dealing with the bullshit with tyrannical state and tyrannical laws. Or do you want something that is long lasting? You get me? That your children and your children's children and their children's children are going to be able to enjoy. And on this journey, these past 6 years, that's what I've learned. That the only way to create lasting change is to develop ourselves and to not allow ourselves to be, drawn astray by the noises and outside occurrences. Now, that's not to say that going to any of these protests is wrong. Negative, man. If you're there, you're supposed to be there. If you went there with some good intentions, you're supposed to be there, and you're going to meet people at these gatherings that you are supposed to meet and that you otherwise wouldn't have met had you not taken the action, to go there. But we need to understand that the only way to change this craziness that's going on today is through, I'm not going to say completely non-violence, but it is going to be greatly done and achieved through non-violent measures, non-violent resistance and non-cooperation, meaning not cooperating with what we do not agree. Like there were millions of people globally yesterday protesting and have been protesting the death of this one guy for the past week or so. And they're all protesting it, yet conforming to some bullshit. Like, they're all walking around with masks. What are you protesting? You get me? Because you're protesting, but you're still wearing a mask. So you're not really protesting shit. You're thinking you're protesting. You're only being guided astray by the individuals that want you out there doing all this senseless gathering. Because at the end of the day, once the gathering is over, you go back to your regular day programming. You don't continue with the work and the consistent ethic on developing yourself. As soon as the whole commotion is over, you're done. You're done developing yourself. You're done grabbing books like this, because there's no more gatherings, so let's just give up. No. It has to be a consistent process. The only reason I'm on here right now is because this 2 o'clock falls within that 5 hour, between that 3 hour period that I have chosen, that I decided, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that I was going to be dedicating these 3 hours on a Sunday to meditating on things that will bring about the things that I want to see in this reality in life, you know, whether it is political, religious, or spiritual, you know, physical, mental, financial, for not just for me, but for the world as a whole. Because, yo, at the end of the day, it's not just America that's feeling this shit, but, you know, America feels like they're the only one that's feeling this shit because they killed a black man and they put it on fucking media as if they haven't been doing this shit for God knows how long. You get what I'm saying? They have been lynching and killing black people for God knows how long, but y'all motherfuckers wanna make a big fuss about it now, right? Y'all wanna act like y'all wanna show that y'all care, that y'all are emotionally disturbed now, when it's on camera and when it's a white guy, right? When you see a black guy beating the shit of another black guy, and one is wearing uniform and the other one isn't, but it's nothing there because that's just black on black crime. We can't expect that. But as soon as it's a white man, everybody wants to fucking lose their fucking mind. They're still doing it. There's still motherfuckers being lynched all across South America, the southern parts of the United States, because there's ignorant white people fucking stupid enough to think that they're somehow or way genetically or biologically superior to black people. They're fucking stupid. And y'all motherfuckers that are protesting over this George Floyd guy death, and that are gonna go back to your regular day fucking programming, y'all pieces of shit, y'all ain't worth shit. You feel me? Because y'all just out there for show. Y'all really don't care about this fucking guy dying. If y'all really did, y'all would be educating yourself politically, you know, developing your intellectual capacity so that you can make sure that 5, 10, 20, 100 years from now, this shit is no longer going on, and that your group and that your people in your community and your children are also up to date on what's going on and how and what they can do to make sure that this isn't happening. But we're not educating ourselves. We're just fucking protesting, and out here, you know, expressing our discontent, but yet not doing anything else about it. As soon as it's time to go home, everybody goes home. There's no persistence, and that is the problem. We're not persistent in our own life. We're not persistent in our own self-development. Yet we want consistent. Yet we want consistency and persistency from government institutions. Yet we're not accountable of ourselves, and therefore we cannot hold them accountable neither. And that's really the biggest issue. And I mean, even holding myself accountable to come out every Sunday and to go out and meditate wherever my consciousness tells me, despite on who's walking by or who may be looking at me and saying like, oh, look at this jackass, what the fuck is he doing? No, it doesn't matter. Just like y'all didn't care about going and protesting yesterday or protesting all this whole week, you know, about being called idiots for doing what you're doing, and about being criticized and misjudged by the media because, you know, we got other individuals out there protesting with you that are not really with you. And this is why these things will continue to happen, because we're not organized. We're not organizing ourselves. So we're not going to achieve an evolution of self if we continue on this path. We will have a violent revolution. We will have a civil war if we continue upon this path, but nothing good will come out of it. These global institutions, you know, these World Health Organization, these United Nations, they do not have our best interests at heart. They have a lot of nicely written words, you know, for us to read and to digest so that we can later regurgitate on their behalf, but they don't have our best interests at heart. I'm going to tell you right now, they do not have our best interests at heart. So, people of this world, we need and best get our shit in order sooner rather than later, and stop falling into this divisive fucking agenda. Yes, there are racist white people out there, but that is a select few, just like the select few of the cops, you feel me, that are bad. And yes, we understand that when the majority that are good are silent, they just make matters worse. And it's the same thing for black folks, for people of color. Be you Hispanic, motherfucking Haitian, Caribbean Islander, a Kemetic African directly from Africa, or an African indoctrinated and brainwashed here in America, we need to understand, man. We need to love ourselves first, like really, really love ourselves, and also really understand where the hell we come from. If we do expect to create solutions for ourselves, we can't be just consistently blaming and not accepting responsibility for our own, bullshit. One thing that I realized, when I joined the military, was that I was fucking prejudiced as fuck against white people. And I didn't know why. I was prejudiced as fuck towards white people, and I felt sorry for black people. And I didn't know why. Until I started going to college, and I was able to, reacquaint myself with the narcissistic, imperialist, Greek, Roman, Zionist educational system that we function under today. It was only when I was able to literally think outside the box and critically inform myself that I was able to figure out why it was that I was prejudiced against whites, and why I felt sorry for black people, and why it is that white people can feel sorry for black people, and black people can hate so much white people, and it's because we've been fucking miseducated and indoctrinated by a system to make us think this way. It's been psychologically designed to keep us sedated, down, dumb, gullible, defeated, feeling stupid, like we're purposeless, like life has no meaning, like we are nothing. And we need to understand that we are something, that life does have a meaning, but that meaning is only determined by the purpose that we give our life. You get what I'm saying? That we are more powerful than we give ourselves credit for, and that we can create the changes that we want to see in the world once we begin to create those changes and recognize the changes that are needed to be made within ourselves. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of the problems of today could be solved, but they're not going to be solved overnight, and they're not easily solved because it takes people having to look into that mirror that they don't want to look at and accepting their bullshit. And that's the thing. A lot of people will rather place their bullshit on somebody else rather than accepting their bullshit. And I don't think I could break it down any simpler than that. You feel me? When it comes to why fucking revolutions do not fucking work. Why violent revolutions never fucking work. Unless the great majority are in accord and are in agreement with what needs to happen. 56 men that got together, talked about this shit for 2, 3, 4 years, and then was like, yo, you know what? Yeah, let's create these American nations. Let's create these United States of America. Let's alienate ourselves from these kings and queens of Europe that only keep infringing upon our American rights, our individual rights. You get what I'm saying? Only when individuals can do that, when they're so aware and so well in themselves that they can, something that can be of great value to the greater number, not just some individual selfish gain. Only then will we create the change that we want to see. But until then, we're going to continue to fall prey to all these divisive agendas, all these Hegelian dialectic problem, reaction, solution agendas, these Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter don't give a fuck about black people. That's going to be, I'm about to make a video just on that. People need to understand this shit. Black Lives Matter don't give a fuck about black people. Yeah, there's a lot of black people that care about black people, but the foundation of Black Lives Matter is a corrupted and cesspool of deceit and deception, and nothing good will come out of it. So stop thinking that Black Lives Matter is for black people. That shit was designed by a Zionist financier. You feel me? A Ukrainian Zionist financier, rich, one of the richest people in the world right now. You feel me? So do your research, people, before you start fucking falling prey to all these divisive and institutions that only tell you what you want to hear rather than what you need to hear, right? You see, social power may be briefly defined as the capacity to control the behavior of others, directly or indirectly, through action by groups of people, which action impinges on other groups of people. All right, political power is that kind of social power which is wielded for political objectives, especially by governmental institution or by people in opposition to or in support of such institutions. We don't know none of this stuff. We don't understand it, so we can't use it against them, so they use whatever we don't understand against us, and that's really the problem. And that's going to continue to be the problem so long as motherfuckers continue to be ignorant and entertaining BS mindsets. I'm gonna light up this blunt. I'm gonna finish this video with whatever I gotta say. I'm gonna post it, and then I'm gonna sit my ass in front of this post office right here on Martin Luther King, i.e. Jackson Ave, in Jersey City, right in front of the small city hall, the makeshift city hall that they have right here in the hood. And I'm gonna meditate on some positive stuff, that we can bring around us the group of people that will help us achieve the changes that we want to see in our society, and that we go through our days using our time as mindfully and as effectively as possible, so that we can be of the greatest value to ourselves and others in our society. And that's really where it's at, man. If we're not intentional about what we want to see, then we're not gonna create what we want to see. We have to be intentional. If you want to be rich, you have to intend to be rich. If you want to be powerful, you have to intend to be powerful. If you want to be masters of others, then you have to master yourself. And these are the only ways to achieve these things. All that we seek without is all within. Other than that, I'm gonna see ya. You have a blessed rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. One.